It's not a dog. That is my wife!
It's very good.
Guy Ritchie's The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is fully geared up to storm theaters around the world. Critics are almost unanimously praising the new film by the British director, noting its action, characters, distinctive directorial techniques, and humor. Today we'll discuss why the project has resonated so well with reviewers, why it's being called Ritchie's best work, and why it's a must-see movie. Make yourselves comfortable because, as always, it's going to be interesting. Let's remember that The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is not just a fictional piece set against the backdrop of World War II. The film is based on Damian Lewis's book, Churchill's Secret Warriors, which tells the true story of a real secret division. The book, in turn, is based on declassified documents from a former British Prime Minister. The division operated under Winston Churchill's orders. Although its existence was kept secret for a long time, it is believed that this team of saboteurs helped achieve victory for the Allies during the war, even though most were unaware of their mission. Moreover, this secret squad formed the basis for many special military units, and James Bond was modeled after the commander of this unit. The film narrates how this very team received an impossible mission that spanned the entire front line, with the ultimate goal of thwarting the Nazis' plans. Although the story is based on a real group of soldiers, Guy Ritchie undoubtedly brings his unique style and narrative manner. He styles the approach to the story towards an action film, making it an atypical World War II film about heroism and sacrifice. The real squad's activities were incredible in themselves, but the director and cast make the film even more spectacular, occasionally altering facts to suit the narrative. Naturally, the film didn't shy away from a certain amount of chaos, but the central idea remained historically accurate. According to the plot, The Ministry tells us about the first operation of the sabotage team named Postmaster. We won't spoil it, but we'll just say that the action takes place off the coast of West Africa at a Spanish base. Initially, the saboteurs must carry out a top-secret plot to disrupt the supply chain to Nazi submarines. This would free the Atlantic from underwater terror and allow reinforcements from American allies. Whether it succeeds or not, and the consequences it leads to, will be revealed in the film itself. Most critics have warmly received the new project, calling it Guy Ritchie's best work in recent years. Undoubtedly, many notice a similarity in atmosphere and tone with another of the director's projects, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., as well as a common concept with Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds. The latter, in fact, is compared by every second reviewer. It's not surprising, as the parallels are quite apparent. Two squads of saboteurs operate behind enemy lines to change the course of the war, both teams working with exceptional cruelty and even enjoying it. Moreover, Ritchie's approach is very similar to Quentin Tarantino's style, where the characters set the tone of the narrative. One can also compare the Nazi officers, who, behind a facade of propriety, hide incredible cruelty, or charming beauties who are an important part of the squad and actively assist it. Both directors have all this in their arsenal, from which the parallels naturally arise. However, The Ministry is closer to The Man from U.N.C.L.E., considering its comedic element and solid action. And since the focus is on characters rather than a convoluted plot, Guy Ritchie didn't go wrong with the cast of his new film. Particularly worth mentioning are Henry Cavill and Alan Ritchson, who appeared to many as the most striking characters of the film. The former Superman plays the squad leader named Gaz March Phillips, an outwardly pleasant guy with memorable mustaches who loves exquisite things and knows his job well, and who also steals cigars and jackets. It must be said that Cavill excelled in his new role, and his reunion with the director was clearly beneficial for both. Incidentally, the actor needed to rehabilitate himself after Argylle, which many criticized, including for Cavill's pale performance. In The Ministry, the acting is fine, and Cavill proves he can do well in both action films and comedies. Additionally, it's worth highlighting Alan Ritchson, who with maniacal passion deals with Nazis. Clearly, he serves as the main brute force of the squad. He has many amazing moments with a bow and arrows. Of course, he stands out among the others mainly because of his choice of weapons and plays his role to the fullest. Besides the combat scenes, Ritchson adds quite appropriate humor to his character, making him brighter. He is definitely going to be a fan favorite in this film. The beautiful Isa Gonzalez, the only woman in the cast, plays a real-life character, a model-turned-Hollywood actress, Margie Stewart. Although her role in the actual mission is historically undefined, here she is portrayed as a seductive spy. Gonzalez also excels in her role, having previously shown her dramatic capabilities in The Three-Body Problem. In The Ministry, the actress showcases her diverse talents, making it difficult to take your eyes off her character. Interestingly, almost all the main characters portray real people, except for Baba Olusanmoken, who, although playing a significant role in the mission, was specifically created for the film. Additionally, actor Cary Elwes has special connections with the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It was recently revealed that his grandfather was one of the team members, and more specifically, one of the characters in the film. This adds a new layer of depth to the narrative, as Elwes plays a true story from his grandfather. Thus, during the filming, the actor incorporated some elements into the narrative. It's also worth noting the chemistry between the main role players. The funniest moments are precisely the interactions between the team members. Some of these scenes were seen in the trailer, but Ritchie manages to maintain this detail throughout the film. The Ministry also did not forget to generously incorporate dark humor, which is abundant here. The action scenes also look great. Although they may not be outstanding, they definitely entertain and look splendid, particularly highlighting the middle of the film where enemies are decimated left and right, and also the final act, which is similarly action-packed. Adding Jerry Bruckheimer's participation in the production instantly clarifies that the action and visual effects are on point. However, a drop of tar must be added for honesty. The film is not entirely even, and it feels like some moments significantly sag. For instance, many critics agree that some characters are not sufficiently developed. The same goes for Cavill's character, who, although incredibly charismatic, hardly looks like a squad commander. The rest of the squad lacks the background to fully unfold. It is also noted that the film lacks intrigue. From the very beginning, we see that all the characters are professionals at their jobs and cope well with the task. It gives the impression that they will definitely succeed, and all we have to do is watch the process. This, arguably, is one of the main problems of the film. The characters rush through legions of Nazis without encountering the slightest resistance, thus losing the sense of danger for the main heroes. The Nazis themselves turned out, frankly, to be rather dull and slow, which does not pose any significant threat. They more resemble a gang of thugs that are easily annihilated. And the film's main villain, Heinrich Löhr, played by the incomparable Til Schweiger, is portrayed as worse than a Nazi. However, in essence, it is not particularly revealed what makes him so much worse. Throughout the film, he commits not so many actions that would distinguish him from other soldiers. And again, if comparing with Inglourious Basterds, Schweiger's villain does not compare to Hans Landa, played by the fantastic Christoph Waltz in Tarantino's film. At the time, Waltz's villain was incredibly charismatic, charming, intelligent, and terrifyingly cruel. Ritchie, in this regard, certainly lost. But in defense of the director, it must be said that he did not have such a goal. Certainly, one can agree with many of the critics' words, but this does not mean that the film is unwatchable. On the contrary, Ritchie has created an excellent action movie based on a real story, with spectacular scenes, memorable characters, and the director's signature touches. This is the kind of film you can enjoy an evening watching or go to the cinema for and not regret it at all. And even if it does not become your favorite in the director's filmography, you certainly won't be ashamed of it, because it is quality entertainment cinema. By the way, some also note that more could have been extracted from the source material because its potential was enormous. But that is another story. Such is the new project by Guy Ritchie. Be sure to write in the comments whether you are looking forward to his new film and which of the director's projects is your favorite. Well, that's all for today, friends. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and click in the bell. Thank you for watching. See you very soon.